I still remember that day like it was yesterday walking into that old courthouse in Austin, Texas, feeling the weight of those stairs. And there they were, Officers Jenkins and Hayes, pointing and laughing like schoolyard bullies who'd just spotted their favorite target. Look at her, strutting in like she's the queen of the block, probably looking for the welfare line. Jenkins sneered, cupping his hands to yell it across the lobby, while Hayes bowed mockingly, wiping fake tears from his eyes as if it was the funniest thing since sliced bread. But me? Dr. Elena Ramirez. I just adjusted my briefcase, the one stamped with that DOJ sealant, kept walking, my heart pounding not from fear, but from that quiet rage you feel when someone underestimates you so completely, thinking your skin color tells your whole story. It all started a few weeks back on that lonely stretch of I-35, heading home from a high-level briefing in D.C. I've spent the last 20 years climbing the ranks at the Department of Justice, crafting policies on civil rights enforcement, briefing attorneys general, even standing shoulder to shoulder with task forces that took down major corruption rings. But that night, these two pulled me over for speeding, though my dash cam later showed I was right at the limit. Their real reason? I fit their profile, a Latino woman in a nice car, driving through their neighborhood, and God forbid someone like me look successful without their permission. Jenkins approached first, hand on his gun like I was some threat, barking for my license, and when I handed over my federal ID, calm as could be, explaining I was on official business and offering the verification hotline, he just chuckled. Nice try, sweetheart, but fake badges don't fly here. Anybody can print those online. Hayes snickered from behind, muttering, bet she's got a sob story ready about profiling. These types always do. And before I knew it, they were cuffing me, ignoring my protocols, my offers to call my superior, all because admitting I might be legit would crack their fragile egos, built on years of pushing around folks who couldn't push back. Deep down, it stung not the cuffs, but the assumption, the way they decided I was one of those without a second thought, driven by that toxic mix of resentment toward anyone rising above what they thought my place should be, especially in a community where old boys clubs still whispered about keeping things in line. I'd seen it before in my work, patterns of abuse buried under stacks of dismissed complaints, but living it? That lit a fire. I sat in that holding cell, not panicking, but planning, replaying every word, every smirk, knowing my training in crisis management would turn this into something bigger. Court day came, and Jenkins took the stand first. He owned it, chest puffed, spinning his tail like a pro. Routine stop. Your Honor, she got aggressive, waved fake docs, claimed she outranked us to intimidate. Classic con artist move. He glanced at me with that cold stare, adding, I've got 15 years on the force dealing with folks who think rules don't apply. And the jury nodded along, buying into his authority, while Hayes sat there nodding like a backup singer, both of them so sure their badges made them untouchable. But inside, I was steady-eyed, spent nights reviewing footage, digging into their records. 8 complaints over 5 years, all against people of color, all swept under the rug because the department protected its own, fueled by that same fear of losing control in a changing town. Then it was my turn. I stood, swore in with that quiet certainty, and laid it out plain. At exactly 7:47 p.m., lights flashed. I pulled over in 43 seconds, hands visible, offered my creds, but Officer Jenkins dismissed them, said save the act for someone impressed, refused verification because, in his words, no way someone like you is federal. The room murmured, but I kept going, pulling out my protocol card, explaining my role: assistant director overseeing civil rights training for thousands of officers nationwide, and how their escalation violated every standard I'd helped write. My attorney, sharp as a tack, nodded, and that's when we dropped the bomb, the dashcam video. The screen lit up, and there it was, them betting before even approaching. $20, she cries, profiling. Hayes laughed, and Jenkins shot back. Nah, she'll play the big shot, look at her. The jury gasped as it played. Their mutters about fake papers, eye rolls behind my back, aggressive commands like step out or you're done, all while I stayed composed, offering solutions they waved away. Jenkins' face drained white, had lied under oath, and now everyone saw the truth. Not a threat from me, but their prejudice, born from years of unchecked power, jealousy over outsiders succeeding in their turf. But we weren't done when defense demanded proof of my creds, In walked Deputy Director Thompson, my boss, suit crisp, presence like a storm rolling in. Dr. Ramirez reports to Mesh shapes policies for 800,000 officers, was briefing on accountability that very day. He laid it bare. Protocols ignored. Federal matter, now in the irony? I was investigating departments like theirs for exactly this crap. Cross-exam time hit like payback. Jenkins squirmed as we grilled him on those complaints. Elderly Latina grandma harassed en route to church. Young black dad detained for looking suspicious in a white suburb, all dismissed, all echoing their grudge against anyone challenging their authority. Hayes cracked, admitting, "It was just cop talk, it does it all the time." I stayed quiet. Cause loyalty, you know. But loyalty to what? A system rotten with bias, protecting egos over justice. Closing argument sealed it. Defense stammered about honest mistakes, but my side roared. This wasn't error, it was abuse. Thinking a badge lets you humiliate based on looks. Jury out 47 minutes. Guilty on civil rights violations. Jenkins got 2 years federal time, fired for good. Hayes, probation and cleanup duty. Watching him pick trash on I-35 now. Thinking of that missed call, it's almost poetic. 6 months on, Jenkins patrols a mall in cheap polyester, invisible to shoppers. Hayes vests orange on highways, regretting his silence. Me? I testified before Congress, pushed the Ramirez reforms, body cams mandatory, complaint oversight, real changing departments nationwide. My son, graduating law school, spoke of dignity under fire, how mom turned humiliation into hope. But here's the thing that lingers: was it just 2 bad apples? Or a whole orchard poisoned by fear of change? What if more folks spoke up sooner? Tell me in the comments. Have you faced something like this? Who's really at fault, the officers, the system, or us for staying quiet? Like, subscribe, share your story. Let's keep the conversation going, because truth like this, it only wins when we make it heard.